Hey everybody, so one of the questions I often get is about disclosure and my thoughts on disclosure. Somebody recently asked on Instagram what I thought about the speed of disclosure, when it was going to happen, that type of thing. Um, Disclosure of extraterrestrials is going to happen. We're seeing it in the news, we're seeing it in the media all over the place. Uh, but at the same time, it's going to, for safety reasons, be a slow process that kind of snowballs. It will progressively speed up, but as you know, too, or most people know anyway, something comes out in the media and most of the world doesn't even know it happened because they distract from it. Recently, the thing that happened that was big is they admitted that they have what they called uh, what was the word they used? They they have non-terrestrial biological bodies or something like that. They didn't say extraterrestrial. I'd be very clear about that. The clips that I saw from the hearings and stuff where they're government officials are asking these questions. They didn't say extraterrestrial. They didn't say aliens. They didn't say any of that. They worded everything very specifically uh, in a way that essentially they could deny where these bodies come from. They just have craft with bodies that have been recovered is basically the gist of it. Now people will say, "Oh, they admitted they had we found aliens." They didn't actually admit that. Uh, you know, it's one of those things like they didn't say the words, or at least I have not seen clips of them saying the words extraterrestrial, outer space, galactic, those types of things. But it's a step towards disclosure fully, and it's a step towards the world knowing the truth. Now, here's the problem. There are a couple problems here. One, you cannot disclose what they've done since the 40s and probably before without creating enormous fear. To have full disclosure of everything that has happened, there would be a lot of anger and a lot of fear. The people in charge who have done this work have not been friendly to those of us who came before me 20, 30 years ago, back in the 40s. The stories you hear of men in black showing up and different things of that nature and bad things happening, murders, fake suicides, all this stuff, that's all real. ETs will be very clear it was not them. It was organizations on the earth that did those things. It is something that full disclosure will reveal how much negativity these organizations have created, how much they have interfered, how much they have hidden from us, technologically hidden from us. We would be far more advanced right now technologically if things were not hidden from, from before the 50s type of thing. We would be far, far more advanced. To find out all of the information about ETs, to find out everything that has been done, there would be a lot of anger and a lot of fear. The only way to find that information are two things. One, I heard somebody say they had channeled, I believe it was an Arcturian council, and it resonated with me that they were working with. And they said, to have disclosure, you have to have something in place to protect those who were involved from penalties. So basically, when all this information comes out, people are going to want to hang, and they're not going to be happy. They are not going to be happy one bit when they find out the truth of all kinds of stuff. And in order to reveal the truth, these people, the people in power, are not going to reveal the truth if they feel like they are not going to, and I'm just getting a spider off of my, you see this little spider here, I don't know if you can see him, he's crawling up my leg, little crab spider. They are not going to reveal the full truth if they feel like they're going to go to prison or potentially worse, because they have all been involved in a lot more than people can imagine. And so full disclosure, I do not see full disclosure actually being something that we end up with. I see disclosure dripped, and eventually them saying, oh hey, yeah, something, there are beings from other worlds and we're now working with them, but they're not going to say there are beings of other worlds and we've been working with them since the 40s and we killed a bunch of people to protect the secret and that type of thing. That stuff isn't going to come out. We know that's out. There's plenty of proof out there. There's plenty of information and stories, experiences people have had that stuff is there. But to have full disclosure, probably not going to happen. And it's probably going to be one of those things where they just one day say, oh hey, we met aliens a few days ago and we've been working with them, and you know, it's not going to be like we've been working with them for 50 years type of thing. Even though we know it, that will be, my guess is that will be a later event where when we find out the truth and people are ready, that they just slowly drip like these information packets of like, hey, this is what happened, this is what happened. Because if they did it all at once, people would be so angry, it would tear the world apart. So full disclosure I do not see as being a single event, as being something that people just wake up one day and have all the details. But what I would argue is, I know how everybody wants disclosure. This is one of the most common questions I get. People want this you know, the secrets revealed. They want to know the truth. They want to know what happened because they're curious, and some of us do know the truth and just want to see everybody else understand it too. But the only way you end up with disclosure is through yourself. You cannot, let me be very, very clear about this. You cannot trust an entity who has lied to you for 100 years, almost 100 years. We're over 80 years right now, or close to 80 years. Roswell was at 46, so we're close to 80 years. I don't remember, it's 45, 46, something like that. We're close to 80 years, and probably more, a lot more. You know, if you consider the churches, if you consider the religious institutions, what they've done in the different countries for thousands of years, it's far, far longer. But if you just consider, if we just start at Roswell and you consider extraterrestrial disclosure, which ETs have been here long before that, but that is like the signature event, so to speak, signature event that happened where they, you know, the crash happened, there was all kinds of tech and stuff, and it was in the papers for 3-4 days, witnesses, people, and then the government came in and pulled everything and started saying it was a weather balloon, which we, you know, I believe most of us can see through that story when you know the history of the story, is that you know, it was in the papers, there were witnesses, there was all this stuff, and then all of a sudden, no, the military decides to come in and take it away. So we use that as the singular event, and we can say it's been 80 years. They have lied for that long. most people would not trust a friend who lied to them for a year. But people want to trust the information coming out of what you could call control structures, governments, whatever you want to call them. They're like, we want disclosure. How do you know it's the truth? What I've seen has not been the truth. The disclosure I've seen has been very manipulated, has been very carefully worded, has been very cautiously approached, and not given full answers. The one video I saw, I could tell the gentleman that was speaking, although he is speaking on a very key platform, he's also protecting himself in that because of everything that can happen. But there is not an open forum that people can safely speak, so you cannot get full disclosure if they do not know that they have full protection, whether they are part of the problem or just a whistleblower. People need full protection. And then on top of that, you have the whole idea of these organizations have lied for 80 years and it's not the only thing they're lying about. So how can you trust an organization who continually lies and manipulates its people? How can you trust that? You can't trust that. You can't trust that one bit. And it makes me sad because I know how you can get disclosure, and people want it from the government so badly. They want disclosure. They want somebody to tell them the truth. They want somebody to sit there and say, here it is. Here's everything that happens. Here the galactics are real. Inner Earth beings are real. We've been to Inner Earth. We have teams. We have a star space program, or whatever you want to call it. What did as much not to get into politics. I have no political views really. I don't believe in politics. But what I will say is this: is as much as I did not agree with Trump and his leadership, regardless of what side of the aisle you're on, the one thing I can say that people laughed about was Space Force. Is that what he called it? Space Force? Like, we need to create a Space Force. I found it surprising because that was a form of disclosure, because we already have that. Like, people laughed it off like, oh, this is crazy, this is funny, look at what he's doing. And I'm sitting there going, I don't care what your political views are. We have that. We have ships. We have people who know this stuff. We have, funding that has disappeared, billions and billions of dollars, and people are like, where did it go? I don't know. Well, I know exactly where it went. It goes into, aside from the fact that it's probably being taken by leadership, for their own gain, it also goes into these programs that explore and do other things. I'm adamant that stuff exists. I've seen it. ETs have told me. They're like, what, your people are lying to you. Like, they have this stuff. Like, it doesn't make, like, they just hide it. They hide it from you. So people want disclosure, but they're hiding all of that, and they're not gonna turn around and say, oh, hey, here it is, look at what we did. Space Force, I believe, was an attempt at some form of disclosure. Whether that was the original purpose of it, I have no idea what the political purpose of it was, and I don't trust politicians. I don't care what side of the aisle they're on. It's even those in office now, I don't trust them. I just have little bugs crawling on me, so if you see me looking down and moving sticks and stuff, it's because I'm trying to safely put them to other places. But that was, when they came out with that, I was with my ex at the time when they mentioned Space Force, and everybody was just laughing it up. They even came out with a show to make fun of it on Netflix. And I'm sitting there going, I'm like, but this is a form of disclosure. They're creating a Space Force to say, hey, look at the technology we created, when they already have the technology. They just need a wrapper to deliver it to the public. That's it. The technology's there. They just need a wrapper to say, hey, here's what we're doing. And those types of things. And for some reason, I'm thinking of NASA, so I'm going to bring this up. I don't know why. But a couple years ago, NASA sent a satellite to an asteroid or something. I don't remember. It was crazy. They spent millions and millions of dollars on this like satellite rover thing, and their whole reason for it, when you read the spec, was we're sending it up there to blow it up to see if we can divert the asteroid. Well, first of all, you don't need to do that. You can do that with physics. You can figure that out with equations and all that. And anybody knows that if you hold your fist, you have to drill into something. I mean, think of Armageddon. If you've seen the movie Armageddon, they're not wrong when he's like, you can't land something and blow it up and expect a big result. You have to drill into it and push it and propel it and blow it, shred it. You have to have a pretty massive force you can't send like a little satellite and be like, oh, I'm gonna push this big rock with just this little bit of propulsion. It's not gonna work. You need something really large, or you need to drill in and split it apart. And we're smart enough scientifically to figure that out with math. I don't feel like we need to be sending these things up. And I always had this, I kept looking at it. I was working with ETs at the time, like, what the hell is going on here? And they're like, they're not really doing that. Like, it just dawned on me. It's like the reason, that whole thing was a guise for the public to make sure that the funding had a label on it. And I'm sure they had scientists working on whatever project that was and doing it, but there was something else going on behind the scenes. So you have all this stuff that, when it comes out, that as things are disclosed, you're going to find out all the lies, all the deception, all of these front-facing programs and services and organizations that really are just, they're legit in the fact that they exist and they're doing what they're saying they're doing, but they're just funnels to, like, here's the organization, the money's flowing in, people perceive it as, this is what's happening, this is what we're doing, this is the project we're working on, but as soon as it comes in, they're pushing it elsewhere. I don't know what point I was getting to with that, it just came up to my mind, but the idea was that there's going to be a lot of deception revealed, and it's a deep stuff, the deeper you go. And it's going to be hard for people to process, I guess. So that's one of the things is, like, you can't trust disclosure to come from those who are lying to you to begin with. It doesn't work. And I'm going to do a reel on this because I think there needs to be a reel, but, like, it does not work. You cannot trust those who lie to you, period. End of story. So everybody who's like, oh, I want disclosure, and you're looking towards the government, you're looking towards military, you're looking towards political leadership, I don't care who they are. You cannot trust them. You have to go into yourself You have to come to yourself and trust yourself and look outside of those systems, because even the people, and this is where it gets really tricky, even the people that in politics, in the government, where people are like, oh, they're the good guys. They're not all the good guys. They're the good guys masquerading, or I should say they're the bad guys masquerading as good guys to control the delivery of information, to control the energy that is put out, and to control the perception of the information. That is the channel I'm getting right now, to control those types of things. Now, there are good guys in politics, but it's really hard to be a good guy when the whole system's corrupt, type of thing. And so you can have a good guy, but a good guy can only do so much, because everybody else around them, it's like if you're one good guy around 100 bad guys, there's only so much you can do in these situations. So be very careful who you're trusting, because a lot of people are looking, going, oh yeah, this is going to be great. And it's like, okay, yes, they're asking questions, they're trying to get answers, they're trying to get this information. But are they really a good guy? Are they really doing it from a loving heart space, without political gain, without the need to control things, without the need to shift the perception, without the need to think they are the guardians of the truth for the safety of the collective? And that's the biggest thing. Good guys often hold information back and hold what they've been doing and hold that stuff back for the safety of the collective, and say, well, we don't know anything, that doesn't exist, and they create all kinds of stuff around it because they're like, oh my god, people shouldn't know this because they'll freak out, it's unsafe. No. The secretive nature of knowledge, when knowledge is kept secret, power is controlled. When knowledge is kept secret, power is controlled. And it doesn't matter if you're a good guy or a bad guy. You can have good intentions, you can have bad intentions in controlling knowledge. Does not matter. Controlling knowledge is bad, because then you have power over people. So there's a trick to this. And I will clearly say, I don't reveal all of the knowledge that I have freely and publicly because of similar aspects, but this is more, how do I say this? Because it's going to sound contradictory. I'm not keeping knowledge for political gain, for monetary gain, for perception, for all that. I have knowledge of things that my guides and my team and I are very specifically like, the collective is not ready to handle this vibrationally. The information and knowing of certain things from a vibrational standpoint, they must individually find it themselves. So the knowledge is there, and I am open about, if you want knowledge on time travel, if you want knowledge on memory retrieval, if you want knowledge on dream inception, or these different types of techniques that I will not share, because people have to have a strong set of ethics, strong set of morals, and have to be in a vibrational state of love and acceptance that it is known they are not going to use it in a deceptive manner. There are guardians of knowledge, like Akashic records, and this would be a perfect example. The Akashic records, people have been utilizing them for years and years and years publicly. It's common in the spiritual community. Let's look at your Akashic records and see your past lives on Earth. A lot of readers are not ready and do not necessarily resonate with galactic lives. So the Akashic records has library, let's say rooms or levels. If you go into a college library, for example, or New York Public Library or something of that nature, There are rooms that are archived, and you have to have special access to access that room. Now, granted, those are terrible examples because all that knowledge should be free for people to use. So others go in, they read the books, they come out, they write them, and they share them with the world that way. But with like the Akashic records from a vibrational standpoint, your vibration, your understanding, your mental health, your ability to process and safely perceive information controls which level you're allowed into the Akashic. You can access these different areas, but your guides will not bring you to galactic records if you are not ready for galactic records. If you're not ready to understand those lives exist, or inner Earth lives, or lives outside the universe, or multidimensional lives. So it is up to you as a person to find the knowledge yourself. And that's the trick. As a society, we as a people can get to a place where we're ready to accept the knowledge and feel the knowledge and know the knowledge and mentally capable of handling it. And those in power will not share it. That's the key. We get to a space where we're ready for the knowledge, and those in power say, no, you're not ready, because they are in control of the information. Whereas from a spiritual level, you can access anything you want by working with your guides, going to the Akashic, talking to extraterrestrials, and doing these types of things. And so you can get to a level where you go and you raise your vibration. So disclosure, the point I'm getting to is disclosure happens with you. Do not trust the organizations outside of you. Start with you. Work with you. Contact your spirit guides. Start understanding how to work with them, how to talk to them, whether they're human or galactic or fairy or other dimensional, inner Earth, doesn't matter. Work with them. Learn the knowledge that they have. Learn the history that they have. You'll find some beings are like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And other beings like Zetas, for instance, are like, yeah, your planets, your people are in power are just crazy and just not giving you information. Or you could find yourself on a ship with a human-looking, beautiful woman who's standing there, and she's got authority and sees you. And this is a real story that happened to me. She sees you in the distance as you're talking to another ET, and you go, like I go off, and I'm standing there watching the ship bays, and the ships come in and out from this spaceport sort of thing. And she comes up and she says to me, she's like, how can we trust your government if they don't trust their people enough to share information that we exist, to share us with you? Like, how can we trust an organization who does not trust its people or is open with its people? So disclosure happens with you. Get in touch with your guides. Get in touch with ETs. Get in touch with Fae. Make sure they're of the highest good and highest benevolence. Understand that they don't all know everything. They know the things that they have access to, whether, some of them can access Akashic, some of them can access technological devices that have histories on them. Garut had video histories of the Aztecs and stuff in his library. He's an ET. Some of them have all these different things. So the question is, there's something, a little snake? I don't know. I'm kind of curious. I'm just going to look at this real quick. No, there's something moving really quick in the grass, and I've never seen an earthworm move that fast. It's not a snake, but the question is, and that might be a sign for somebody, as you're watching these videos when stuff happens like that, that might be a sign or a message for somebody that's watching this. But disclosure happens with you first. You can't trust the other organizations. You can trust yourself. You can work with beings and learn which ones you can trust, and they can tell you their stories, their histories. They can tell you if they have access to information, or if they know a friend and can put you in touch with a friend that can tell you more. They can give you information on that. You can look into the Akashic, you can read energy, you can feel when people are lying, you can do all this stuff. Disclosure happens with you always. Remember that. These other organizations, people are, they send me these reels and they're like, oh, disclosure's happening, this is exciting. I'm great. I love seeing that stuff. Don't get me wrong. Love seeing that stuff. I love to see that they are kind of disclosing things, but I don't trust any of those people. I don't trust any of that because I know what they've done in the past. I know how they manipulate information. I know how they word things, how they make it plausible deniability, how they do all this stuff, and how even though they are disclosing different things, they are still doing that stuff and being gatekeepers of knowledge. Gatekeepers of knowledge, whether for good or bad intentions, and telling people, well, you're just not ready for this. Well, really it's up to the individual to decide if they're ready. And when the individual decides that they're ready, the individual's vibration, the individual's understanding of spirit, the individual's understanding of love and light in a heart space, when they are free of fear, when they are free of fear, they are capable of understanding any knowledge. But that is not what we have. We just have politicians in power saying, well, you don't get to know this because it's just too much for you to handle. That's not true. It starts with you. Always starts with you. I don't care what it is, what topic it is, whether it's disclosure, whether it's anything else. You don't need anybody to tell you anything. You can find it out for yourself by doing the work. So thank you for watching. If for some reason, I don't know why I feel like saying it, if you are watching this video and you're interested in galactics and ETs and all that, I do the spirit art readings. I do the contact codes too, which help connect you to your guides. They give you little light codes, rituals, meditations, that type of thing, to help connect you to guides. And that's why I'm saying this, because if you want to work on disclosure for yourself, you need to have that connection. So if you're having trouble with any of that, or if you just want to see your guide or meet a galactic or that type of thing, consider doing a spirit art reading or a contact code, sessions too. I have sessions I book. And then we can get you into a space where you're connecting on your own. My goal is never for you to rely on me. I do the art as like an entertainment thing for people that they just want to see pictures. I have people do that they just continually come and go, hey, give me another picture type of thing. It's fun. And it's a fun experience. But my overall goal with any of this stuff is to give you the tools you need to operate on your own as a sovereign individual, so that you can figure out what's your truth for yourself and not rely on other people. So thank you again for watching. I'm grateful for each and every one of you, and I love you all. If you have any questions, reach out anytime. Thank you.